Hi everyone, I hope that you're all doing well. Today we have a very special story island that we're going to go visit that was made by Resident Representative Jabberwocky of Corona. And in advance of this island tour, they actually gave me things to read as we begin to explore this island. It's sort of a mystery fantasy-like island. And basically what I'm going to do is every time we encounter a crest, and you can see what that looks like right there on the right, there's a new chapter of the story that I'm going to read that goes along with that section of the island. So I'm really excited to go and visit Jabberwocky on Corona. I think that this is such a cool and creative idea. So I hope that you enjoy this story. Now, as we're leaving to take off and head to Corona, Jabberwocky's actually given me a letter that we stumble upon, which starts this entire journey for us. So I'm going to go ahead and read this for you, and then we will get this story started. So, to my dearest friend, the situation has become grave here in Corona. My son Percival has ventured north past the Temple of the North Star in order to investigate the disturbances plaguing our land, yet he has not returned home for some time. Okay, so this I think is where the mystery is starting to begin here. As the days drag onwards, my heart aches with worry more and more. Please, I beseech your aid in returning him safely to our home. As one of my closest confidants, I could never dare to imagine anyone better suited to the job. Alas, it has been far too long since we last convened. However, you are simply the only one who I can entrust with this task. I'm counting on you, friend. And this is signed by Quilla of Falling Stars. Okay, so I mean, what a really cool way to set up this story. So it looks like we're gonna go there and try and help Quilla find her son Percival. And as we fly over Corona, let's read this introduction that Jabberwocky has written for us. A sky filled with stars awaits you as you land on the island of Corona. Perhaps you heard of this place before through passing whispers of merchants dealing in stone or clay. A land untouched by time, guided by the superstition surrounding the religion thriving on the island. The goddess of the North Star blessed these lands long before human settlers made their home there. Now, it is a tradition among sailors and pirates alike to leave offerings at the temple in the north of the island when passing through. Those with the blessing of the goddess often find themselves in a fortunate position during their travels. The monarchy, which has taken root on the island, thrives off of the powers granted to them by her guidance. Perhaps this letter from Queen Aquila came to you by mistake. Oh, okay, so this letter wasn't actually intended for us, but yet we just happened to find it and decide to embark on the journey anyway. Very cool. You would have heard rumors about the monarch at most. Whispers passed between travelers of a queen in red who adored the natural beauty of her homeland with all of her heart. The two of you have never interacted before. You aren't certain that she even leaves her castle home perched on the cliffs above town. Regardless, you've arrived here on this peculiar land, dressed for the occasion. Yeah, and I actually want to just leave a side note here. Jabberwocky was kind enough to ask me what kind of fantasy-like clothes I wanted to wear, and I picked a mage, so they actually provided me with this really cute outfit that you're about to see in a second here. Anyway, so you are greeted by the dull light illuminating the church situated in front of the docks. Despite the late hour, you can see a chunk of the populace gathered in the town center. From the blacksmith's to a small sweet shop by the beach, you find yourself surrounded by a fully functioning town. It was strange to hear from the queen, let alone to know that she now has her own children. Come to think of it, this is your first time in the kingdom of Corona. You suppose that you ought to investigate the castle first in order to get a lay of the land. Alright, so wow, what a really cool introduction. This has really laid out a great background story for us to sort of get to know this character who's a mage and also to sort of understand this land that Aquila rules over. Oh wow, so I mean look how pretty this entrance is. We have these stars and ooh, a sign that says lost. And we have those marketplace decorations, so cute. And then this background over here of this statue, what looks to be the queen's castle perhaps. So as we are exploring this area over here, let's read what is on crest number 1. So you find yourself in a large entry hall staring at the throne made of intricately cast gold. 6 guards in decorative armor stand sentry along the walls, their eyes following you as you move through the room. On any normal occasion, this is where you might expect to find Queen Aquila. She was the one who summoned you here, right? Slowly but surely, you walk through the barren room, past a crown placed upon a podium. When you come to stand in front of this ornate seat, you catch a glimpse of a letter left behind on the seat, sealed with crimson wax. The guards don't flinch as you pick it up, reading over the contents of the document. Okay, so this is what the letter says. Percival has gone to meet an old friend on the shore just south of the marketplace. Ludwig, one of the children of that merchant. I can spot the location from just outside the palace. Rumors are that pirates have abandoned some of their bounties in the area. You slip the envelope into your pocket quietly. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and walk over to the beach here on the right. And, oh, okay, so we see like a little cake stall, and there's Nook's Cranny. And as we get down lower to the beach, ooh, look at this. This looks interesting over here. Oh, and we have the second crest. So let's go ahead and read that. As you come to the beach just south of the sweet shop, you take a look around. This area smells distinctly of salt water and soapy aroma of hyacinths. As you trail along the sand, you come to notice a skull left on the sand. It sits above a large axe written in red paint. And yeah, there it is. Perhaps those rumors of the pirates weren't just whispers in the night. Just behind it, you notice a sign made out of dark wood. On it, a depiction of a crown. Underneath, this singular word, lost, is scrawled. You lean in, taking a closer look. In small text, you gather that is searching for the safe return of Prince Percival the Formless, captain of the Corona Guard. So whoever wrote the description was clearly either a patriot or infatuated with the prince. As you pull your head away, you find a small note that blows through the sand. You pick it up and carefully comb over the words written on it. Okay, and this is what the letter says. So Percy asked me to come investigate the voids in the north of town with him. It had been a while since I prayed at the Temple of the North Star, so I managed to force myself away from my journeys to drop by this forsaken island for a short while. I find that my friend is more skittish than usual. We paid a visit to the old wizard in his library before we left toward the temple. The water witch lives just beyond there. I wonder who that is. And that foul woman has the worst temple. Octavius is the only one yet I know who has the key to soothing her. For some reason, I can't bear the thought of staying in Corona for long. And this is from Captain Ludwig. Alright, so on the way to the palace, you think you saw a library. It was off toward the left side of town. Alright, so we'll head back up and then we'll head over to the left to see if we can find that library. Perhaps there you might find the wizard in question, Octavius, right? What an antiquated name. Tilting your eyes back up toward the palace, you swear you're able to momentarily see a figure standing by the statue in front of the palace, one hand pressed to the marble. As quickly as you notice them, you blink only to realize they've vanished entirely. Was it a trick of the light? Some illusion left by the starlight above? You rub your eyes briefly to check, staring up above. Nothing. After a time, you turn your gaze back to the torn-up page. Ludwig. What an odd individual. As you fold the paper up to store in your pockets, you think on this Ludwig individual. They seemed uncomfortable being here on Corona. Yet, thus far, the island has seemed to be perfectly pleasant to you. You find yourself wishing the best for this stranger. Okay, cool. So let us head up over to the library and figure out what's going on and if we can find this Octavius fellow. Okay, so crest number 3. Hidden just behind the blacksmith's house, you're able to locate a cramped library, only a few feet large at most. Leaning against one of the walls, stacked high with books, is a young apprentice, gently dozing against a golden orb left in his house of knowledge. You decide that it is best to leave him sleeping. Oh my gosh, how cute is this library? Written on a paper left on one of the flat counters surrounding the area, you notice a name, Octavius Magnus. Octavius the Great. This is the wizard that Ludwig wrote about in his log. That must mean that Percival has passed through here. You take a look around, your finger skimming over the edge of the leather-bound tomes. After pulling out a few novels and skimming over the dry pages of them, you notice a small doodle on the front of the cover. AG plus OM is written in flouncy handwriting surrounded by a heart and several drawings of stars. Upon closer inspection, there is a faded lipstick mark there. It seems as though the library is a dead end upon initial inspection. Maybe there are more clues on the outskirts of town from the left-facing windows of the library. You believe you can see a drawbridge leading toward the exit to town. Let's head over that way then. Oh, look how nice that forest is right there with the mushrooms. Let's read this crest now for crest 4. So past the drawbridge to town, you pass a crossroads. There's a forest that seems to glitter and glow just ahead of you. Blue lines cover the earth running through it, pulsing with a dim light. Something about it is off-putting. You decide it's best to go investigate the pier before moving forward. Okay, so I guess we're gonna head down toward the beach before we go through this cute little mushroom forest over here. So we're on the beach now. Let's head over to the dock. I believe they said the pier in that last crest. But let's head over there and see what we find. Alright, so this one reads, surrounding the small dock crafted out of fallen logs, you find yourself wandering through a beachside section of town. A lighthouse sheds a blinding beam into the distance. As you stand on the very edge of Corona, you peer into the distance, only to notice something peculiar. Far out to sea, clustered in an area no larger than what could be a mile, a thunderstorm rages. You can barely hear the distant patter of falling water smacking against the surf. Lightning cracks against the waves. It's like a whip, a screeching, howling sound that makes you wince. The skies are almost perfectly clear above you. How could this be? You feel your breath catch in your throat. Amongst the storm, you notice a figure floating. You squint. Gray hair whips around the breeze, framing an aged face with a hooked nose. Oh my gosh. She wears all black, and a hat with a wide brim sits perched on her head. Oh my gosh, I love this creativity right now. How cool is this? Alright, so come to think of it, the thunder sounds like cackling. You find yourself stumbling back off the pier onto the sand below. You turn your head away from the storm above. She isn't why you're here. Percival is. He'd be at the temple of the goddess, right? Maybe it's time to head through that forest after all. Alright, I'm excited. Let's go. Okay, I'm going to start reading the 6th crest as we begin to make our way through the mushroom forest over here. So as you wander through the winding woods, you look from side to side. Wildlife skitters away from your heavy footsteps. Squirrel, deer, other game all avoid you. The light grows more and more intense as you wander up to what looks like an old house. Perched in front of the area are 2 moons similar to the one you noticed back in Octavius' study. Yes, I love it. The moon chairs are out. That's awesome. You skim your fingers along the edge of one of them, noticing that they pick up traces of gold dust as you do. You silently wonder to yourself if it is edible. Leading up to the door of the house, you notice a set of muddy footprints, and there they are, wow, leaving an indent in the ruins. You squint your eyes at them and peer through the windows briefly, only to be met by inky blackness. There is a sense of comfort about this strange home. It puts you at ease despite the distant sound of rushing water. Alright, so let's head on inside and see what we find here. Wandering into the old house, you watch the world morph before you. Rather than facing what might be a quaint cottage or tucked away in, you see endless rows of columns and a floor made of polished marble. Wow, I just need to stop for a second and say, like, how thoughtful is this island? I mean, the amount of detail has been amazing so far. This is so great. Sitting in the center of the room is what looks to be a statue of a ram, framed by gold and stone. You walk up to it, gently resting your fingers on this being. As you do, an image rushes to your mind. A man donning a suit of glittering golden armor and another in finely tailored red coat stand in the center of the room. Behind them, an old woman with spindly white hair watches over them. Crags of darkness split the smooth floor. Peering into them, you notice how horribly cracked they are. A sense of unmistakable cold runs over your body. Resist the urge to vomit as you come to. Oh no, a whisper running through your mind is in a voice like the rain. It says, "Chaos lies on Mount Cometa." What could that mean? From what you gathered, Corona is quite mountainous. You choke down bile as you make your way to the door, only to notice 2 translucent sets of stairs to either side of you. A blue light pours down from the ceiling and red heat batters your feet. Oh my goodness, alright, let's go see what's going on in these other rooms. Okay, so you find yourself surrounded by clouds and the glow of orb-like lights. You feel your body relax, sinking down and down. Walking to the moon in the center of the room, you stare for a while. The longer you look, the more you can feel your eyelids drooping. As they slip closed for just a moment, you get a glimpse of a creature, ancient, proud, incomprehensible, forming, twisting, and morphing in and out of view. Moss snapping, hungrily pursuing everything in its path. Oh my goodness. In horror, you watch the jaws take bites out of the world, leaving voids in their place. Is that what you can describe them as? The best thing you can think of to describe them is areas of non-existence. As the beast's teeth come closer and closer, the sound of fireworks and clanging wind chimes floods your ears. Claustrophobic, it feels as though you might be swallowed whole. With a mighty effort, you pry open your eyes. Oh my goodness. All right, things are getting intense here. Wow, look at this room. Okay, the heat of magma laps at your feet. A sense of wrongness overcomes you as illness pounds in your chest. The woman in red? You hear her cackling. Something is wrong. You're sick. You feel the urge to leave this horrid place. Maybe there is solace to the north. Okay, let's start heading up here. So stepping out of the Temple of the North Star, you follow the tracks north. Your eyes drift, coming to rest on a small wooden path. It is beaten from years of use and obviously hasn't been repaired in some time. You begin to walk along it. How cute is this over here? Okay, so as you stroll up, the strange runic lines come to an end. In their place, you find gaping and fertile voids in the ground. Okay, that must be these stone paths right here that look really dark. Very cool. This sickness hasn't gone away. The more you stare at these black patches, the more you feel like someone has taken a bite of your very soul. The rain in the distance grows quieter and quieter, almost becoming a hum, like static behind you. Your steps become a distant echo of noise in your mind. As the flowers fade from blue to white to yellow, oh my gosh, yeah, we have yellow flowers over here. Cool. You begin to notice candles scattered across the ground. They light your path in places that the goddess cannot reach you yet. Standing above it all, on a cliff framed by waterfalls, is a cottage with a black roof. You stare up at the tiny abode. It is too small for anyone to reasonably dwell in, right? Alright, let's go check this out and see what's going on in this little cottage. Inside of this tiny abode, you watch a thunderstorm brewing on each wall. Smoke blows off the tops of the vials and a cauldron bubbles over a fire in the center of the room. This place is dark, horrid. You feel dirty simply being in the room, but as rain pitter-patters around you, you get a sense of where you are. On one of the console tables on the walls of the room, you notice a set of notes. Okay, so this one comes from Aggie's diary. The son of that damned queen visited me today. Okay, so Percival was here. The poor lad doesn't know what he's in for, nor what his mother is doing to our own isle. Ooh, okay, I wonder what's going on here. So I told him that the peasants had begun to mobilize against the island-eating beast. Wow, okay, so let's see. He told me that he'd call in the guards to aid them. I can only hope the poor sot'll survive. Oh no, alright, so Percival could very much be dead at this point. So when he asked me for the beast's name, I almost refrained from telling him the truth of the matter. Better no one knows the goddess's prophecy is a sham. Yet he pried it from my loose lips. Okay, so this is from Agnes, who is the Water Witch. She was referenced before in that other letter at the library. Very interesting. So the name of the beast is the Jabberwocky. Let's read this crest here. The name doesn't sound familiar, but reading it makes you feel sicker and sicker. You briefly wonder about this peasant revolt. The prince isn't here, but you might know where he is. Alright, let's head out of this little cottage and continue on our journey here. Alright, so crest 12, we have this little farm area here with some flowers and stuff. Let's see. So the farm seems to be abandoned. On the wind, you catch the distinct scent of copper and smoke. Head south. You feel the compulsion to head south. Alright, let's head on down then. Wow, look how detailed this is. Okay, so the 13th crest only says, what is this place? Yeah, let's try and figure that out. Wow, okay, oh my gosh, look at how they used a QR code to mimic blood on the floor. Oh my goodness. So let's read this here. Are they dead? Your eyes trail across the ground as you explore this forgotten battlefield. The words of the Water Witch's journal come flooding to your mind. You bite your lip to choke down the rising bile in your throat. My goodness, my character has been so sick this whole time. The reek of their corpses is disgusting, and peering into the armor, you see non-Euclidean forms shifting underneath. You don't know how it's possible. The pieces of unmatter flickering in and out of vision. Alright, let's continue heading on down here. Ooh, okay. So you smell lightning, a burning, awful electrical scent. A glance up at the sky reveals that midnight has faded away to the embrace of a starry night. An incomprehensible beast walks along the heavens toward a mountain in the distance. You recognize the form of the worm from a distant reflection on the mountains. Alright, so if you can find Queen Aquila at Mount Cometa, maybe things will be okay. Oh my gosh, there she is. Oh, I love this. This is so creative and put together. Alright, so you think you see a man in red limping away from the mountain toward a shrine just behind it. Oh my gosh, and look, there he goes. This is so well put together. Behind him, a body draped in gold armor drags. Echoing in your ears is a roar. Though you find it difficult to describe it as such, wind chimes, white noise, and a horrible clanging all mingled together in a cry. That woman you saw by the statue, you think you can see her form mingled into the skeleton of the beast. Your best bet of finding Percival is to proceed behind Mount Cometa. Okay, so Percival is the one who was just hopping over the cliff over there, and it looked like the queen was up there on the mountain as well. So let's head behind this mountain and see what the next crest says. Ooh, okay, this area is cool. Behind the mountain where the beast lies, you see what you can only describe as a small chapel. Centered inside is a large golden coffin. On the lid, you read a singular name, Percival the Formless. Oh no, Percival! He couldn't be dead, right? You don't know what that would even mean. Tucked underneath a black rose lying on the ground, you notice a familiar note, identical to one of the ones that was in your pocket. Alright, let's read this note. It says, Captain Log, Corona Island. Queen Aquila became a beast. I don't know why. I don't want to know why. I shouldn't have to wonder why. Okay, and that's probably why what we were reading before in the last crest said that they were sort of formed together. Okay, so Percy was injured trying to subdue his mother. Oh no, and then he started to run away and we saw him. I brought him to the base of Mount Cometa. He should be safe here for now. I am fleeing toward the shore. Octavius has a house where I can wait while my crew loops to gather me. Whatever the queen is, I do not wish to face her. And this is signed by Captain Ludwig. Alright, so Ludwig is heading towards the shore. I guess that we'll start heading down there and see if we can find them. Okay, so as you reach the shore, you watch a small sailing vessel topped with a Jolly Roger speeding off into the distance. Oh no, we missed them! A man with a red coat stands on the deck peering through a looking glass. Okay, so that must be Percy. He's okay, I guess. You're stranded here. Under your breath, you curse. That terrible crying has grown louder and louder. All you can think to do is try and hide. There has to be somewhere to hide. The claustrophobia and the illness which has been mounting in your stomach over the past hour are becoming overwhelming. Your head spins as in between the cracks of reality you see a small cottage, Octavius's house. It's somewhere inside. And to you, anywhere is better than being outside in this horrible mounting storm. You place your hand on the door handle, feeling your breath hitch. It hurts. You hurt and you want a release from this pain. Oh my goodness, so much is going on here. So let's head in to this cottage, and this is our last crest here. So we're reaching the end of the story. Ooh, okay, so once more you find yourself transported into what appears to be a void of light. The moment you enter this space, the pain lifts. Your feet tread among clouds as you look back and forth. Sitting in a rocking chair in the center of the room is a pale-looking fellow with long hair. He wears a suit of shimmering golden armor and his eyes seem tired. You feel that exhaustion too, a desire to simply break from the reality which haunts you. You feel elated. Your eyes pace around the room and onto the floor. Painted underneath his body, you see a sloppy red X in flaking paint. He looks toward you, a placid smile on his face, and as he opens his mouth to speak, all you hear is clanging of incomprehensible, inhuman noise. He's in pain, you can tell that much. Anyone on this accursed island has to be in pain, but this place is a reprieve from that. Okay, and this is what this guy is saying to us. 'Twas brillig and the silky toes did gyre and gimble in the wave. You believe that you make out such nonsense words as that, but you aren't sure. Slowly you watch the room around you fade to a bright white color. Your senses begin to evade you. X marks the spot between the realms of existence and the incomprehensible. Okay, wow, so that was so fun to go through. I've never experienced anything like that in Animal Crossing before. It was so creative and wonderful. And I really just want to say thank you to Jabberwocky for allowing me to experience this story and to share this with all of you. I mean, the amount of detail that went into it with just the costumes and the items placed all around their island. I want to know what you all thought of this story in the comments down below. Write what your favorite part of it was. I would love to hear it. And just so you know, this is actually part 1 of this story that Jabberwocky is writing. So this certainly is not the end for the Beast, the Queen, the Jabberwocky, if you will, and Percy and Octavius. And I'm kind of glad because this is definitely not the end of the story. We still have to deal with the Queen and this Beast that's sort of wreaking havoc on this island here. So I'm definitely looking forward to hearing more from Jabberwocky about their story. I'm really excited about it. So anyway, if you enjoyed watching this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and in the description below, I'm going to link to Jabberwocky's Twitter so you can go ahead and give them a follow if you wish. But other than that, if you're new here, consider subscribing for more Animal Crossing New Horizons content. I thank you all for watching this, and I will see you in the next video.